Hey everybody, Blugoblin here. Thank you for joining me for my comic book review for this week of February 2015. Once again, I'm a bit late, but I'm getting better. Being sick put me way behind, and it put me really behind on my Midtown comic stashes. I am still like 2 stashes behind, but I promise I'm going to try to get caught up on that. Got a lot to talk about in this particular episode, if you want to call it that. Got three indies, and the rest are from the big two, Marvel and DC. We're going to start with the indies. We're going to start with Valiant here. We're going to start with Valiant. We're going to start with The Return of Quantum and Woody, number 5 of 5. All I can say is, thank God this miniseries is over, because this sucked. Compared to the previous Quantum and Woody series I read, this was lackluster. However, with that being said though, this issue was not god-awful. There were some stuff in here that I did particularly like. However, at the same time, that's where all the disappointment comes in, because this is a 5-issue miniseries, and you wait until nearly the end of the issue to finally give us what you promised. The Return of Quantum and Woody. The original Quantum and Woody. They finally spring back into action near the end of the issue, and by then, it's too late. It's far too late for the true reunion of Quantum and Woody. I don't get it. Maybe if I had read the original run of Quantum and Woody, maybe I would appreciate this a little bit more. But coming off that awesomeness the last time around, and then coming to this, it just doesn't measure up. This last issue, though, was fair enough for what it was, but I'll give it an average read at best, 2.5. Middle of the road, average. Alright, moving on to Dark Horse and Dynamite with Conan Red Sonja, number 2. Gail Simone, Jim Zub. Oh man, this was really good. This was good. Whereas issue 1 had seemingly a more focus on Conan, in this issue we get more of a focus on Sonja. And we get the return of a supporting cast member that I haven't seen in a while, Dark Anisha. Who she's working with Red Sonja, and they're out on a ship. They learn that Conan has found a love. I just loved how they met her, though. That was good stuff. But they find something called a blood root, and what they find, it's really grotesque, and that's where I'm going to leave it. The rest of this book was really good, with oh shit kind of ending. It was one of those endings where the heroes are sure they took care of everything, but then us readers see they may have missed something, but they don't know it. You know, it's one of those kinds of cliffhangers. They've been done to death. But this was good. I love the friendly animosity between Conan and Red Sonja. It really works really well. The writing is good. The artwork could have been a little bit better in my opinion, but that's just me. But don't get me wrong, it wasn't bad. This was really good. I enjoyed it. It was a solid read. Good stuff. Give it a 4. Alright, we're going on to Dynamite with Legenderry Red Sonja, number 1. Yes, okay. Hear me out. Yes, I know who's writing this. Mark, I fucking hate Batwoman and Draco. Yes, I know. Hear me out. I still despise Mark and Draco for what he did to Batwoman. Do not get me wrong. I still hate what he did to Kate. But Red Sonja is a character that I love to follow. And my mindset for this was, what the hell? Honest to God truth, I was like, what the hell? I'd give it a try. It's Red Sonja meets steampunk. How can I pass that up? Yes, I was hesitant when I learned that Draco was writing this, but I have to be honest and give credit when credit is due. This was not bad. This felt really good. This felt like a Red Sonja book, even though it's basically steampunkish to a certain degree. Yeah, it's a steampunk Red Sonja issue, but one thing I will say is Ananki, the artwork in here was really, really good. Sonja doesn't look that much different in here. She kind of still has that Sonja-ish look to her and everything, but yeah, I know probably a lot of you are going to say, oh, Blue, how could you trust Mark and Draco after what he did to Batwoman and everything? But this is, I got to point this out. This is something I'm going to try to avoid revealing the cliffhanger at the end of the book. This is one thing that's really bugs me with Dynamite comics sometimes, is all the ads posted on the very back of the book. It makes reading the book seem a little shorter, you know, but just good swashbuckling storytelling with a bitchin' cliffhanger that I dare not even hint at or anything. I saw that and I went, what? What, really? Okay. Despite my feelings about Draco's hatred of Batwoman and his outright sabotaging of that title with him between him and DC, I'm still going to give this a try. This was good. This is a first issue that got my attention. Solid read, 3.5. Moving on to DC. We're going to start with Green Lantern Corps number 39. This is a continuation of what's going on with John Stewart and a team of Lanterns going to one of his fellow Lanterns' home world and everything. And this Lantern's child claims that it's being overrun by monsters and everything. And they track down these monsters and they find these monsters and they find out that they're part of something that's going on really, really big, you know, down below in the shadows and everything. So John decides, let's keep going downward. So they're literally digging into the underground, in this world. And oh boy. Oh boy. For a penultimate issue of this series, I gotta say, you got my attention. Especially with that cliffhanger. I mean, sometimes cliffhangers work, and sometimes they really work. Oh man. This is one of those instances where a cliffhanger was used so well, it's making me actually want to read the last issue so bad. Like, ooh, how the fuck they gonna get out of this? Especially when it concerns John Stewart. And I'll give you a little hint. They're hinting at, can he, you know, overcome his greatest failure or something like that. That's all I'm going to hint at. This was good. Really good. But not perfect. I give it a 3.5. Alright. Sticking with DC. Going with the Harley Quinn Valentine's Day special. I'm going to give this book a hug. I loved this book. This was so good. This was so fun. This was so cute. I loved it. This was fantastic. Just simply fantastic. Really, really good stuff. You know what? now that I think about it, when I look at all these books that I read for this particular stash, fuck it. This is my pick of the week, folks. This was really good. Harley finds out that, you know, she learns about corrupt people who are corrupt businessmen, corrupt politicians taking money from, you know, and she decides she wants to be like Robin Hood, steal from the rich and give to the poor. Yeah, instead of giving to the poor, she wants to give the money to herself so she can go bid on a dating auction to see if she can snag a date with Bruce Wayne. Meanwhile, there's dreams, daydreams, trips, and all kinds of stuff going on in here just to give other, and they even mentioned it, to give other artists a chance to showcase their art in this book. But some of the stuff that you see in here, especially when it comes to, you know, what's going on in the dream world with Bruce and Harley, just fucking amazing stuff. Really, really good. But the end of the issue really impressed me. The end of the issue showed that Harley can sometimes shed that giddy crazy girl image and showcase her intelligence and showcase what she knows and showcase her rights and everything. And this was really good. She's standing up to Batman in the end of this issue. Fantastic. This was amazing. Fucking awesome. Worth every penny of my $5. Thank you, DC, for this. Thank you, Amanda Conner. Thank you, Jimmy Palmiotti. Just awesome, awesome stuff. And I love that Amanda Conner gave herself a name drop in this book. Great shit. I loved this. 4 out of 5. Awesome. Alright, ending DC with Secret 6 number 2. You're not seeing things. It's finally fucking out. I mean, my God. I was ready to go drop off my grandkids in college for their first day in college before I was ready to pick this book up. It felt like it took forever for this fucking book to come out. And was it worth the wait? Kinda. Gail Simone, I love you. I love you, Gail. I love your writing. But man, it just felt like we waited so long. We practically forgot most of the shit that happened in the first issue. Consistency, consistency, consistency. I actually had to go back and reread issue 1 before I read this book, so that way I knew what the fuck I was getting into. I gotta say, this was not bad. We're learning more about Catman. We're learning more about him in that he acts like a cat. And I mean, literally, he doesn't like being enclosed in spaces. He doesn't like getting wet. I'm like, this guy's playing off all the characteristics of a human cat. The rest of the supporting cast in here is pretty much there to help make Catman look good. But the ventriloquist is really, really creepy. But I honestly felt like this was nothing more than just, let's help make Catman look good. It's all about Catman, all about Catman. That's honestly how I felt. But they do manage to come together near the end of the issue. And I'm going to go ahead and spoil it for you. It's just... It just looks really cool seeing them stand all together. Excuse me, stand all together like that. But I don't know. Maybe the wait was too long, and it just... I got so excited about reading this, and when I finally read it, it's just like my expectations were up here, but my feeling about the book is kind of like about right here. You know, this is what I'm saying. You know. It's not Gail's fault. It's not anybody else's fault on here. It's DC. It's the editorial's fault. It took them so fucking long to get the book out. It kind of hurt it a little bit. But it was great. It was a great read. 3.5. Okay, moving on to Marvel. We're going to All New X-Men number 36. This is the conclusion to this storyline with the original X-Men being stuck in the Ultimate Universe, and this is their conclusion of their fight with Doc Doom. And if there's one thing Doom should learn, Ultimate Doc Doom, Victor Van Dam, if there's one thing he should learn by now, is don't fuck with Jean Grey. Any Jean Grey. And it's, wow. This was fun stuff. I guess it had a little bit more of a sweetness to it, knowing that the Ultimate Universe is coming to an end very soon. So there's that. I just love the one-liners in here, especially when the original X-Men find their way out. Now, how they find their way out, I'm not going to spoil that. But young Jean gives Miles a little peck on the cheek, says, "You're a hero." And then Miles looks over at Ultimate Jean, and she goes, "I'm not kissing you." She says, "Just because she kissed you doesn't mean I'm going to." And he says, "Don't read my mind. That's not fair." It's just good stuff. This was great. This was fun, action-packed, good drama, good one-liners in here. This was awesome. I loved it for what it was. Another solid read, a 3.5. The Amazing Spider-Man number 714. I don't give a fuck what that number says. This is issue 714. Okay? So here it is. Amazing Spider-Man 714. I guess the conclusion of Spider-Verse. It's funny, it just says part 6. You would think the conclusion they would put somewhere, the epic conclusion on the cover instead of just part 6. You claimed that this was going to be one of the biggest Spider-Man stories you have done in a long time. You think you'd want to boast it up a little bit more. Have the epic conclusion written somewhere on the cover, written anywhere on the cover. That to me would garner more attention, thus garner more sales, more reading, more paying customers. Who knows, God forbid, some fan would pick this up, read it, and think, "Oh, this was good. This is the epic conclusion. I gotta read this." And if there's any back issues, they might want to buy the rest of the back issues and get caught up on Amazing Spider-Man. Who the fuck knows? But what the fuck do I know? I'm just a fan, right? But anyway, as far as a conclusion to this story, I expected a little bit more, in all honesty. I'm glad they didn't go where I thought they were gonna go. Where I thought they would have no choice but to go. You know, there are plenty of times in comic books when you see a hero versus a villain, and the hero doesn't want to go down the road where the villain usually goes. The hero doesn't want to be like the villain, you know, take that road, you know. And what I mean by that is the hero doesn't want to kill the villain. Even when they believe for a split solitary second, even for that split second, that there's no other way to win. The hero always tries to think of another way to win without going over that line. And I like the fact that they didn't go there with this storyline. Were there some casualties? Damn straight there were. There were casualties throughout this entire storyline. But did any of the inheritors die? Yes, I will spoil that. There was at least one death. But then there was a huge swerve at the end of the book that I was like, huh. When a certain character came into the fray in this issue, and I was like, I forgot all about that fucker. I honestly did. And then to see what the spiders do to the inheritors at the end of the storyline, it makes me wonder, we're going to see these assholes again. I'm going to tell you that right now. That's how I honestly feel. I'm making a prediction. Maybe it won't happen for another year or 2 or 3 or fuck even 10. I don't know. There's no telling when they're going to do it. But there's going to come a point in time where maybe the inheritors will come back. Or who knows? They probably won't come back, since Marvel's going to shake the Etch-a-Sketch and start all over again after Secret Wars with certain characters. So who the fuck knows? It's just, I just feel like they left the window open for them to come back based on what they did. However, as the conclusion goes, this wasn't bad. But I just feel like I could have honestly gotten something better than what I got. Just my opinion. You know, sometimes I think I'm harshest with Spider-Man. My expectations are a little too high with Spider-Man sometimes, since he is my favorite character. I just feel like sometimes Marvel takes the easy way out with him instead of really trying to create balls-to-the-wall storytelling in which Peter's faced with a dilemma where, you know, sometimes he may have to go a little bit dark. Sometimes he may have to go a little bit rogue. But then again, they already did that with the Superior Spider-Man, but guess what? That wasn't Peter Parker! It is what it is. The next issue is going to be an epilogue to the story, and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, Spider-Gwen, there's going to be a Spider-Gwen series. I'm looking forward to that. There's going to be a Silk series. Fuck Silk. Seriously, fuck Silk. I hate this character. That's another thing I want to talk about. They showed Peter and Silk in each other's arms at the end of the story, and I'm like, I still don't fucking care. I still don't fucking care, Marvel. You have not yet even given me a reason to give a fuck about this couple. Spider-Man and Silk is easily one of the most forced relationships I have ever seen in a comic book. I don't fucking care. Silk is naive, she's fucking impatient, she's reckless, and that makes anything around her seem more dangerous. I know she's been cooped up for most of her life, but that's no excuse for how stupid this character looks sometimes. Seriously, fuck Silk. But yeah, it is what it is, and I give it a 3.5. Alright, moving on to Star Wars Darth Vader #1. Gillen, LaRocca. Oh my god, wait a minute, I gotta do this again. I gotta just open this bad boy up. I gotta find a good page. I mean, look at this interior artwork. This is incredible stuff. Now, for those of you who are wondering why I'm reviewing this and not Star Wars #1, there is a reason for that. There is a reason for that, and that's because I thought I had it over there, but I don't. It's because Chris is sending me the first 2 issues of Star Wars from Midtown Comics, and then after that, I'm going to start collecting it from issue 3 on here at Arkham Comics. But here we are with Darth Vader #1. Kieran Gillen does the writing, and you got LaRocca on artwork, and the artwork in here is fantastic. I loved it. Like the Star Wars comics seems like they take place in between episodes 4 and 5, between New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back. And in this particular book, we see Darth Vader negotiating a deal with Jabba the Hutt. And let's just say it doesn't look very... let's just say the deal was kind of in favor of Vader. Let's just say that. And meanwhile, Vader is facing the Emperor's anger for the destruction of the Death Star, but we're also seeing some distrust from Vader in the Emperor, which kind of makes sense, because we all know what happens in Return of the Jedi, at the end of Return of the Jedi, when Vader eventually turns on the Emperor. But we start to see small little things that build that small semblance of mistrust from Vader in the Emperor. I thought that was really well handled, really well executed. This was really good. This was really, really good. I just can't get enough of this interior artwork. It's just so beautiful. Really, really good. And another thing, like the Star Wars comic, it opens up like a traditional Star Wars movie. I gotta show this off. You know, it starts with that scrolling text stuff that you would see at the beginning of a Star Wars movie. This was fantastic. A bit pricey, but I think it'd be well worth it. Get on board with the Star Wars comic. I'm getting Princess Leia here at Arkham. So when it comes to the Star Wars comics, I'm getting issues 1 and 2 from Chris, the Mount Vernon Kid from Midtown Comics. Then it's all Star Wars all the time over here. Now, as far as the last Padawan thing goes, I don't fucking care about that. I'm just going to get Star Wars, Darth Vader, and Leia. Princess Leia is going to be written by fucking Mark Waid. You know I'm looking forward to that. But this was good. This was really good. A 4 out of 5. Moving on to Guardians of the Galaxy number 24. Not much to say about this. You know, Bendis does a good job with this. But there ain't much to say about this one. It's more or less the Guardians and the X-Men, and you know, continuing to fight some henchmen over this, you know, Black Vortex thing. And by the end of the issue, there's a whole big blow up of superly overpowered people with the powers of the Black Vortex. There is some dissension between the Guardians and the X-Men about whether or not they should actually use the Black Vortex's power to help combat Master Knife's henchmen or anything like that, who have already been supercharged with the Black Vortex. This was what it was. I thought it was good for the most part, but I kind of felt like the cliffhanger at the end of this issue was a bit rushed. I really did. I would expect a moment like that to happen much later on in the storyline itself. It's like you just couldn't wait to press that easy button, could you, Bendis? This is how it felt to me. This is how I felt about that. It was good for what it was, a 3.5. Nightcrawler number 11. This is the penultimate issue of this series. Issue 12 will be the last. Chris Claremont, I mean no disrespect, but I wasn't really feeling this one. After what you did in issue 10, I'm not feeling it anymore. I mean, that's how bad issue 10 was for me, based on what you did. I'm going to go ahead and ruin issue 10 for you guys, but issue 10, you basically wrote a rule that says Nightcrawler's not allowed to fucking die anymore. Even if he does die, we'll just wake him back up. And I'm like, man, issue 10 was just such a fucking cop-out. I went back and looked at it again, and I disliked it even more than I did when I reviewed it. And then we get to this, and it's 2 rookie X-Men. I only think one of them, Scorpion Boy, is an actual X-Men, while the other one's just a new mutant who's discovering her powers. And yet they're easily able to handle themselves before Kurt and the pirates come in to help them out and everything. Look, it's Claremont, it's X-Men. Chris Claremont, to me, is still Mr. X-Men when it comes to writers and everything. But man, issue 10 really let me down. This one, I just wasn't feeling it. And I'm hoping you're going to pull something really... I'm hoping you're going to pull a really big monumental story out of your ass, Mr. Claremont. I really hope you do. And I really hope you have this series go out with a humongous bang or a humongous bamf. Because, god damn it, you fucking need it after what you did. This was what it was. I give it average at best, 2.5. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest. Going on to Thor number 5. Oh man, I gotta say something here. Man, is Odin ever pissed about this new Thor? And man, is he ever pissed off at the Odin son for letting her have that name and letting her keep the hammer? He's just fucking pissed. He is pissed off. Man, it is really, really telling on how Odin feels about a hammer that he enchanted to whomever the hammer deemed worthy. I just looked at some of Odin's dialogue and I'm thinking to myself, why are you so angry that the hammer deems somebody worthy? I mean, isn't that what you enchanted it to do? Like, you should be happy it found a worthy host that could be a hero. I mean, possess the power of Thor. I mean, the hammer was not... Odin himself enchanted the hammer to pick a worthy host. So if Odin should be pissed off at anybody, he should be pissed off at himself for not enchanting it to be only used specifically by Thor, Odin's son. If you were a little more specific with your enchanting, maybe you wouldn't be so cheesed. But then by the end of the issue, we get to see just how pissed he is and how desperate he is to get that hammer back. Whoa. I have got to get issue 6 so bad. I have got to get issue 6 so bad. I can't wait to see where they go with this. This was, again, this could have easily been my pick of the week, but man, Harley just barely beat it out. But this gets the same score, gets a 4. This was fucking awesome. Going on to Wolverines number 6. Not much to say here. The artwork was better in this issue than it was in issue 5. But it's basically the team of Wolverines and the X-Men and Mr. Sinister and his group fighting over the remains of Logan. And it's just I got it storytelling that I've seen done before. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. But the cliffhanger at the end. What? Where the fuck you going with this? Keeping my attention. I'm gonna stick with this. Who knows where they're going with this? But, woo. I literally stared at the cliffhanger like this, and I was just like, huh. I didn't see that coming. This was good for what it was. I'll give it a 3. Sadly, we are leaving this review on a bit of a sad note. X-Men number 24. I swear, the more I read this, the more I'm considering dropping it. This, I'm going to give issue 25 a try, and if issue 25 does not wow me, then I'm done. I want to end on an even number, and 25 seems fine. I'm going to say that right now. If 25 has not impressed me enough, then I'm done. This was just okay. It's the ladies underground fighting these creatures and everything. And Psylocke does something with her powers to psychically dampen their pain receptors so they don't feel any pain during this fight, which is really dangerous because that means they could get impaled by something and not even fucking feel it. It's basically they're giving themselves PCP mentally. You know, you can break every bone in your body, you won't feel a goddamn thing. Which was probably one of the moments in here that I actually did like. But it's just there's a tease at the end of the book concerning one of the X-Men struggling to stay alive or some shit like that. This is just okay. I'll be nice and give it a 3, but like I said, if issue 25 doesn't wow me, then I'm done. Alright, that's all I got for this particular review, everybody. I want to thank you all for watching. Please subscribe to this channel. Don't forget Blugoblin X, where I do my Midtown comic stashes. Jennifer and I are looking for stuff to do for Arkham Asylum Studio. We got something in mind, but we need to get that done. Don't forget my bro, Chris, TheMtVernonKid, my old buddies, Deadpoolzilla and Brandon Hex. Thanks again for watching, everybody. I'm Groot. I'll see y'all later.